to us, if you are not dating us, if you're not having some sort of physical relationship to us, if you don't find us attractive, if you don't find us polite enough, kind enough, quiet enough, that our lives are not worth protecting, is that what you're telling us? Is that the precedent you're setting?
Yes. The same way women will say, you're not my family. You're not someone I'm romantically involved with. You're not tall enough, handsome enough, rich enough, smart enough. I don't owe you a smile. I don't owe you words of encouragement. I don't owe you respect. I don't owe you any kind of gratitude. Men will hold the doors open for women and they won't even say thank you because I don't know you. The same way when you see a man down on his luck, you judge and laugh instead of offering him words of encouragement, speaking life into him. Why should I do that? That's a stranger. Things that don't cost you anything, you will not give to a man that you don't know, you don't want. But y'all expect these men who don't know you, don't owe you anything, and they have their own families at home that they need to get back to. Y'all expect those men to lay their life on the line for you when y'all can't even give them a hi, smile, or a thank you. Oh, okay.
So let me clarify.
You guys don't even remember who you guys are trying to defend, who you guys are trying to speak up for. This is the same woman that was going around smacking white people in the streets. She's not innocent. She was actually taunting the guy to hit her. Why would I go defend somebody that's actually looking for trouble? This woman, she is literally a troublemaker. Everybody that knows her in our community knows she's a troublemaker. I'm not going to risk my life over somebody that's actually out there looking for trouble. If you go on social media, online, you're going to see some of her antic videos, taunting people, looking for a reaction. Well, she got what she's been looking for, and you guys are giving her the attention that she was actually seeking for. I don't regret not standing up for her. If you look at some of the videos, I was there. I don't regret nothing whatsoever. I don't regret standing up for her. I'm not saying she deserved it. I'm not saying that any men have a right to hit a woman, especially with a brick. Nobody deserves that. But at the end of the day, there's more to the story. She's not as innocent as she's trying to portray herself to be. She wants attention. She's an attention-seeker woman. She's trying to go viral, and you guys have given her what she wanted. Yes, she did get hit by a brick. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I was standing by doing nothing. And if that shit happened again in the same circumstances, I will watch. Because she's not as innocent as she portrays herself to be. She was taunting the guy. She was calling him all type of names. She was degrading him to a point where he resulted in picking up a brick and hitting him. I don't condone that type of behavior, but once again, she's not as innocent as she portrays herself to be. I remember a while back, she's posting videos going around in public, literally smacking old white people in the face. For what? And now you get hit by a brick, and now you want to cry wolf? And I don't care. You wanted trouble, you got trouble. That's why I'll still buy and watch. So don't, oh man, that whole situation got me upset.
So what y'all think? What y'all think about homie? Y'all think he should have helped, even though if she's a known troublemaker and putting him in danger? What y'all think? Let me know.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch, and they don't give a fuck. Yeah, this man hit me, fucking grabbed a rock, and he hit me in my fucking face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. Y'all see that shit? Y'all see that shit? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? Man, fuck all y'all niggas. Yo, this.
Are y'all?
I hope every Black woman is kissing another Black woman because we are the innate protectors and the providers. We protect societies, we protect communities with our intellectual property, with our lived experiences, with our breast milk, with our bodies. We're the ones and the two. Bitch, not even the three. Because men are not providers and protectors, not innately, because they only protect what they possess. But we protect everybody and we provide, baby, okay? So I hope you catch a girl tonight because I hope I do. And don't forget, before there was feminism, it was lesbians who were living those lives without worried about niggas. Like, they were not worried about niggas. They were decentering men. So before there was feminism, there were lesbians. Hey, excuse me, thank you. You ever fuck with me, I don't think I ever again. You ever fuck with me? Ladies. Yo.
I don't need a man for nothing. I don't need a man for protection. I'm suggesting you get yourself a brick. It's only 58 cents. So you can protect yourself instead of talking down a man and expecting man to come protect you when you start trouble. And I wasn't victim blaming. I didn't blame nobody. I didn't blame her. All I'm saying is it wouldn't have gone as far as it did if she also had walked away. And how come nobody is even asking about the guy that hit her with the brick? Nobody even asked me who he is. Everybody just so focused on me not being there, me not telling the truth, but nobody's even focused on who actually hit her with the brick. Have anybody even tried to find out who he was? How come I don't see nobody posting him? How come I don't see nobody posting the guy that actually hit her with a brick? How come nobody's asking about him? I'm not victim blaming, but you guys want to be so independent. You guys don't need no man. So when you do get hit on your in your face with a brick this big, because this exact brick that it's not the exact brick, but this was the style of the brick. And he grabbed it like this, and bang! I saw the makeup fall off her face and attach to the brick. I saw the brick fall down. It was like when Beckham scored his last goal. You should have seen the way the brick bended across her face all the way to the cheekbone. I couldn't do nothing about it. I was not going to sacrifice my life for a total stranger who is causing chaos. And I stand with what I said, and I will do it again in a heartbeat. I'll watch as the brick goes across her face and do nothing about it. And I'm not ashamed of it. Once again, I wasn't victim blaming. She don't deserve what she got, but once again, she could still avoided it. She could avoid it by walking away and keep her mouth shut. It's that simple. Like, I hate to say it, but it's that simple. Walk away. And she didn't. She kept on talking. She kept on talking. Not everybody is your father. Not everybody is your brother. So watch the way you talk to people in public, because people can react a different way. Imagine if he had shot her. She could have been dead by now. So don't talk crazy to stranger in public and expect a black man to come and protect you. Get a brick. Protect yourself. Brick City.
whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. What's up, family? Welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream here on social media. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Greetings, family. I'm not in my traditional green studio just because we always have some technical issues apparently working out there from the Wi-Fi. So it's better to be back into where I originally did this, which was right here in my room. And I'm sure y'all remember it's been 3 years since I've been running this platform with Sean on Thursday nights, Random Topic Thursdays, and I want to thank you for that. If you're following me on gboot2786 here, or Gavin Richard, or Twitter, or X as it's called, or you're watching via Facebook, thank you, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you are blessed. I hope you are doing safe. Tonight we are talking about Brickgate. We also have some other issues we're going to be talking about, but outside of Brickgate and the videos that you've seen, all relate to what happened. A Somalian woman, she's an immigrant, it's my understanding. She has a TikTok username of Row Reports, and she's a social media influencer. But subsequently, what happened over the weekend, she was at a party, and she claims, and I'm confirmed that she rejected a man trying to get her number, and subsequently he hit her with a brick, according to the reports. And her report, as you saw, her face was disfigured. There were a bunch of people, however, who've done some research, although it hasn't been confirmed. There are some who are saying that she distorted information. The video that you saw, this man who was obviously making fun of this incident, but also was there, stated that she's not as innocent as she looks. And you've seen from some of the videos I've seen where she does these pranks or these acts where she'll slap random people and then starts twerking. And so now that is not to say necessarily that what happened to her, she deserves that. But I think what a lot of people are saying, and what I'm asking for people in the chat and you're on YouTube, are men supposed to help a damsel in distress? Now, you're talking about putting your life on the line, possibly for another stranger, helping someone. And I know of situations, I've heard of stories, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But before we begin, we want to just say a shout out to everyone in the chat, from One Who Cares, what's going on, Cece, Danielle Meyer, bunch of people. We're going to bring in special guests. So I actually have a poll, and it's tight right now, on my YouTube channel, gboot2786. I said, should men intervene when a woman is in distress? And out of 8 votes, 62% of you say yes, 38% say no. I wonder who, I wish there's a way I could do a demographic to see if it's men or women saying that. But everybody is different. I will talk about that in a minute. But as it relates to this situation, the main thing too, and I say who's to blame, one of the things that has come up essentially when you listen to her, as well as from other women and feminists, is that they have tried to lump black men into this. And she said all these black men that are standing outside. I wanted to be clear, and Tariq Nasheed has pointed this out, and others, that, and even when I was listening to this guy talk, that these were what we call non-FBA, or people who are immigrants from the African country or diaspora that is outside of the United States. Now, that is not to say that we don't share African roots, but our experiences, obviously, when you say FBA and non-FBA, are completely different in that I think the upbringing that many of us had is different in how we relate to things in America. Now, joining me as always is a man who needs no introduction. He is the author of The Man Crisis. I would ask if you could support him. But before you support him, also pay me for my time, please, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the monetization here on YouTube is bad. We don't have a monetized channel. So at any of the available spaces, whether it's PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, or Cash App, or Google Pay, please drop something in to my channel to support me, since the channel is not monetized. So let's bring him in. Let's bring in Brother Sean James, author of The Man Crisis. Good evening, Sean. How are you?
Good evening, Gavin. How are you?
I'm doing fine, brother. If you want, you can do a quick plug-in.
All right. The SJS Direct 2023 books, John Haynes Godbreaker and John Haynes 1987, are now available in paperback and Kindle format, and you can find them on Amazon.com with the other 80 titles on the SJS Direct imprint.
Very well. And I got to look at some of Sean's books, but I mean, just ones I've had, The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, as well as Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, says a lot, I think, about our country, where we are today, and our culture. But also, Sean, I think that book even relates to somewhat to this incident here. Now, I'm sure you're aware of the particulars. You saw some of the videos, and I'm actually going to play another video of the lady when she's in the hospital. It's my understanding that a GoFundMe page has also been set up for the woman who was hit by the brick, correct? So
yes, it has.
And as we can see here, I'm trying to pull it up. I wanted to know, and we have it here, how much money has been raised to support this young lady who was attacked. Now, we don't know anything about her, well, other than her TikTok channel. Her name is according to the page here on GoFundMe. Her name is Rhoda, and they've met their goal. $25,000 was the goal, but they've actually raised $41,000, if you could see here. I'm always cautious as of late when these things come up, because I know a lot of people, like we saw with Kyrie Russell out in Alabama. I'm not comparing it to that, but because they had eyewitnesses this time, but I'm very cautious when they have incidents that come up like this, because we never know all of the facts. We see a video, we get sympathetic. We don't know the ins and outs of what happened with that incident, which is why police have to get involved, police reports filed, and so forth. But she is a single mother, according to this, and they specifically mentioned in the in here that she was surrounded by onlookers who stood by and did nothing to help her, not even calling an ambulance. The video is now viral all over Twitter, IG, and TikTok. So, and let me just say again, there's nothing, even if we say how it is, there's obviously nothing that justifies someone picking up a brick and busting someone upside their head, let alone a man to a woman. But the question, Sean, I have to ask, should men play a knight in shining armor to a damsel in distress? And I could tell you from a legal standpoint, there have been situations, and I'm glad you brought this up, one who cares. There was an incident I'm familiar with where a man in a grocery store, this is one of those stories, was coming out of a parking lot and saw what he believed was a woman being attacked by, I guess, an angry boyfriend or angry husband. And he intervened and drew his pistol and shot. Well, sadly, that wasn't the case. She said that didn't happen. And this man ended up getting tried for a crime as a result of that. Now, you've heard what this one comment on. First off, what do you think of this incident, what happened? And Are you familiar? First, are you familiar with this woman from TikTok? Have you done some research on her?
I have
Looked
done
into
some
her?
research on this woman from TikTok, and it looks like she's one of what I call crap starters who go around looking to start trouble with people by allegedly slapping them and then looking to get reactions out of people. And in this case, it basically looks like she was looking to antagonize this male. And as she was looking to antagonize this male, she escalated things that led to the alleged assault with the brick. Now, when it comes to these kinds of assaults, I would say that if this was a real assault, this woman would have been contacting the police and filing a police report, because you would think you would want to go out here and make sure that the perpetrator was caught. But instead of doing that, what this woman did was go out here and take out her smartphone and begin recording most of the men around, again, looking for attention and looking to go out here and chase social media views and clicks and try to gain sympathy for an incident that she basically instigated. Now, this entire incident basically brings up the talking point: should men actively go out here and protect women who are not members of their family or their wives? And I have to say no in this case and in most cases, because if a man goes out here and looks to go play the white knight, it could lead to him, in the best case scenario, winding up where he winds up getting arrested on assault charges. And in the worst case scenario, he could possibly wind up losing his life. Because I've read too many stories about men who have gone out here and played the white knight, trying to break up a fight between a woman and her boyfriend or some sort of incident. And what happens is that that man winds up with a weapon drawn on him in some cases, and he
Yeah.
winds up either dead or injured. Or if he goes out here and defends that woman, he's the one dealing with felony charges for assault. So a man has too much to lose to go out here and get involved with business that's not his own. And in this age of feminism, the American and West and women all over the world have said they don't need a man for protection. And since they don't need a man for protection, they can go out here and call 911. I mean, if this woman had a smartphone on her as she was provoking this man who hit her with the brick, you would think she would have gone out here and called 911 first and
So she
contacted
didn't even
police.
file a police report.
Yeah, that's where I see
saying
a
she
problem
filed-
here. She filed no police report, because if she wanted protection, she could have gone and filed a police report and easily gotten that man arrested. I mean, in this era of Me Too, all it takes is an allegation for a woman to get a man arrested, and all she had to do was make the police report. So that really shows me that this woman really wasn't genuine. But when I look at this whole case, again, it shows me how some women are basically looking to get attention. And as they look to get attention, they trivialize the whole danger that they put themselves in, and they go out here and start all of this stuff, this crap starting. And oftentimes, when they mouths write checks, they butts can't cash them, and that's basically what happened here. This woman's big mouth wrote a check, and she couldn't cash it when that guy smashed her in the face with a brick.
Yeah. Now, Sean, there are some people, obviously, and this is what the comment I had. I saw several videos. I've seen people from Willie D to Dr. Umar Johnson and others, like Dr. Rashad Ritchie. They were going in on this and criticizing the men that were standing around. In particular, I noticed, and you saw some of the videos, people, when this video pulled up, something I noticed was how previous videos, and even under her disclaimers, under her video, she calls herself a feminist. I saw that she, even in this video in particular, I'll play it, but I don't know if this her said, "I'm sorry to you this happened. Men are scared of men, but claim to be protectors. It's time for a change." I've seen them state how cowardly men are, but particularly, you notice she said all the black men that are around here, right? Now, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. And even when I listened to the guy who was the witness that was there, you can tell he was not from this country by his accent. Did you listen carefully to what he was saying?
Yeah, I did.
How he talked? So
Yeah,
hold
he's
on.
a foreign
And
black.
the man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" And I told all these men, like, "Yo, why this man got a brick on my face?" And he's holding a brick, and all these is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch, and they let that get in the car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? Have I ever done to anybody in my
My
life to
problem. Here's
deserve
my thing.
this?
My
I
problem.
never did anything in my
Obviously,
life
if she's a victim
to her.
of a crime, I couldn't take how this came, Sean, into a negative, but it's black men's fault. I couldn't understand how it was black men's fault, and then all of these other agendas that seem to be coming from this incident as a result. You're talking about men need to do better, have to be protectors. Men are protectors, but sometimes women, and let's just be real, they want to bake the cake and eat it too.
Well, when
You ask for equality, you ask for men to protect you, but then tell some women will tell men back off, and they'll go hard on them. Men, you can't have this, you can't do that. Go ahead, finish what you were about to say.
Well, the thing that most of these feminist indoctrinated women don't really understand is that a man's protection is conditional. And that protection is conditional under two conditions. One, that protection is only granted to women who submit to the man's authority, and it's also conditional on that woman being willing to take correction. So most of these feminists, they don't want to submit to male authority, and they don't want to take correction. So if these women don't want to submit to the authority of men, then they do not get protection. When you say that you're strong and independent and don't need a man has no reason to go out here and protect you. A man only has an obligation to protect women who are a part of his family, such as his wife, his mother, and his sisters. And that is also under the condition if that woman is looking to submit to that man and also willing to take correction from that man as related to his leadership. If a woman does not want to submit to those terms, she is not entitled to any protection. And she's basically, if she says she's strong and independent, she's on her own. So whatever consequences come to her are the ones that come to her. And this woman, basically, from what I have heard and read, is she antagonized this entire incident. So how do you get protection if you antagonize this man? Critical question I would ask this woman if I dealt with her. Moreover, how can you ask for a man's protection if you don't go out here and do things to ensure that you're not going to escalate matters? Another critical question I would have to ask, again, if this woman says she's assaulted, you would think she would go to the police. And again, if she's a so-called independent black woman and she don't need a man, she can go and call the police, because this ain't got nothing to do with men. Again, men have too much to lose, such as their freedom, and no man is going to risk his freedom getting into it with this kind of woman who looks to, again, be one of these feminist single moms who wants to antagonize people because she can't get attention. And the main reason why she can't get attention is because she's a bust down. And again, with her social marketplace value being less than a $5 food stamp without the book, she's got to go out here and pull these kinds of stunts in order to get attention, because most guys wouldn't check for her even if she was available for free. So most guys ain't checking for this woman. That's why she got to pull these kind of stunts. And she's pulling these kind of stunts, hoping to get a whole lot of sympathy on social media. But all she's done is prove the point that most men, we ain't got to have nothing to do with her. Now, they always want to try to pin this on black men because this is a person with the same skin tone as black people. But she's really, again, one of these foreign-born tethers looking for attention. And the way you deal with this kind of woman is basically start to ignore her and leave her in bust downtown because ain't nobody dealing with that woman because that's why she got to keep starting up stuff. You would think this woman would be out here taking care of her child, but instead of taking care of her child, all she's done is make a huge mess and make a lot of drama because she's whack as a mama.
Well, like I said, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't see how they can draw all black men into this. But
Ain't got nothing to do with us.
it got nothing to do with me. I mean, yes, if I saw someone being assaulted, I'd probably call the police is the most that I would do. And as well as try, if I could, if it was someone like a kid or something like that, yeah, I certainly would intervene. But men just don't want to get involved because they just too. It's not that chivalry is dead. I think chivalry is just sleeping. Chivalry is not dead. It's asleep. When you got to chew, and in a situation like that, is it possible if I had intervened and punched this man or got into a fight, I would have been looking at charges myself. That's what goes in the back of the mind of a lot of men.
Well, as I've said, the women got to be honorable in order to get protection. And again, you got to submit to the men's authority and take their leadership and correction if you want that man to protect you. But if you're not somebody who's submitted to those men, they have no incentive to protect you. They have no reason to protect you. And if you go out here looking to start stuff, again, somebody's going to finish it. And when you get somebody that finishes it on you, you get whatever you deserve.
This is actually from the Shade Room. They say, now this is what I'm talking about. They say a black woman was allegedly hit in the face with a brick for rejecting a black man's advances. As she recovers, folks online have dug up past videos of the victim and started debates about her feminist and black African versus black American identities. And shout out to Beatszilla. He actually commented on this and said Somalian, not black.
I don't care if I'm the first person to say this, but us Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black. Let me ask you a question. Are Moroccans and Egyptians black? Tradition, our history, our culture are so much more different compared to these other countries that are actually black. Joshua Bill, if you're not black, what are you? I'm Somali. Let me ask you a question. If you were to see a very dark Indian man, would he be identified as a black person or just an Indian?
So, but that's the mindset of some people. And I've been seeing videos they're saying that this woman was a fraud and so forth. I don't know about all of that. They do say that the club she was at denied the incident. Police denied the incident. There's no medical report. I haven't seen anything like that. I do see her with the hospital gown on. Could it be, Sean? Let me just ask you, that the hospital report or the police report just hasn't been leaked yet?
Well, I don't know if the police report or hospital report hasn't been leaked yet, but when I looked at that video, it basically showed me she did not call police because if she's out here shaming these men, you would think you would be trying to get at the license plate of the man's vehicle that as he drove away, you would think you'd be calling 911 to report this assault. When I'm looking at whatever her alleged actions are, it clearly shows me that she really isn't really thinking about her safety or trying to get justice. No, she's just thinking about trying to get attention. And that really shows me that this woman basically is just looking to start some drama. So again, I'm looking at her actions and they are quite suspect. And as related to that video of this guy talking about he's a Somali, okay, then you go to the Somalis to go get your help. Don't come talking about black people and saying that black men need to get involved. No, you go over to the Somalis and go get your help. That's what I say to any of these black people who are foreign. If you don't want to be a part of the black community, you say you ain't black. Don't come over here looking for us to help you. You go over to your own people and you go deal with them through your own people because it ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yes, indeed. We have someone and a couple people in the comments who agree. One who cares said, "You're exactly right, Gavin." Yes, I'm always right. We got Cheryl the Pearl who says, "Good evening, happy birthday wishes to Sean."
Thank you.
Yeah, your birthday is this
It's
month.
Saturday. Saturday.
It's Saturday coming, right? Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Or as Aaron Neville would say it, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Sean James. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you.
You're turning 5.
Turning 50.
Well, plus 0, yeah.
Yeah.
You let me finish. Thank you. That is a spot of impression. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, I got some stuff in the works. I won't say too much, but I know my fans, everybody on here will enjoy what I'll have coming up for the Christmas holiday. Let's just put it that way. So. All right. So, yeah, I don't think it's victim blaming. I think it's just honest questions. And I'm looking here, and we got 60% of people who say a man should, Sean, 60% say, out of 10 votes, say a man should intervene if a woman is in distress.
Yeah, well, I disagree with that in today's age. I leave you right where I find you and let law enforcement deal with that.
So it's 6 the vote. It's 6 votes to 4 that say yes. But I mean, yeah, I would definitely, yeah, like I say, I could call the police. I intervene if I'm in the middle of the action, like someone is in a robbery, for instance. There's a robbery taking place, and I'm there. If I have my gun and they're robbing the place, they're coming around the victims trying to rob them, I probably would pull my thing. But it's a very risky thing. So now the vote is 55-45. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Our channel is not monetized, so any contributions you can give are greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen. So I think, Sean, you don't believe black men are to blame for this, neither do I. But I think you think it's something where the Somalis have to keep in their community. Is that a way of saying it?
Yeah, it's their job to deal with women like this. I mean, it's their job to check women like this who are out of pocket. If there's a woman in your community who's out of pocket like this, looking to start trouble, it's the job of the men to get that woman in line. If she doesn't want to get in line, it's the job of those men to kick her out of the community and let her know that her behavior is not going to be tolerated and she can go elsewhere with that stuff.
All right. Sean, the next topic I want to talk about, ladies, is this incident. That 70s show star, Danny Masterson, was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for for raping 2 women. Now, I have not followed this case as much, although I'm familiar with some of the particulars. Masterson was actually tried last year, if I'm not mistaken, and that trial ended in a mistrial. Had 3 counts of rape. That was back in December. And the prosecutors retried Masterson, where he was found guilty back in May of this year. And so a judge sentenced him to 30 years to life. And I don't know if anybody remembers that 70s show, but Masterson was one of the stars of that show. And now he's being sentenced to prison. And this was out in Los Angeles. And I do know this much. The alleged rape incident is said to have occurred, Sean, almost over 20 years ago. So, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. Someone correct me. I don't believe there was any type of police report from that time. I think there was allegations that may have been made and investigated. The cops dropped it. There was no, I don't know if there was I don't believe, because it's been so long, there was some type of medical kit, rape kit of any kind. So I'm wondering what evidence they used to do this. But according to the defense attorneys in this case, they stated that they are appealing it. The judge denied a motion for a new trial on Thursday, which usually happens after sentencing or before they start the appeals process. A defendant will file a motion for a new trial. That sets that off. And when it gets denied, then you go to notice of appeal, and then you go through the appeals process. And it says here that Masterson's, according to his defense attorney, stated that his lawyer, Sean Holly, told the judge that Mr. Matherson did not commit the crimes for which he was convicted. She said a team of appellate lawyers has identified a number of significant evidentiary and constitutional issues with his convictions that they are confident will be overturned. Prosecutors had alleged that Masterson used his prominence in the Church of Scientology, where all three women were also members at the time, to avoid consequences for decades after the attacks, and the women blamed the church for their hesitancy in going to the police about Masterson. At the church sentencing hearing, one of the women, who, like Matherson, was born into the church, said she was shunned and ostracized for going to the authorities in 2004. I lost everything. I lost my religion. I lost my ability to contact anyone I'd known for love or loved my entire life. She said, I didn't exist outside the Scientology world. I had to start my life all over at 29. It seems the world I knew didn't want me to live. The church, Scientology church, stated that no policy prohibiting or discouraging members from reporting criminal conduct of anyone, Scientologists or not, to law enforcement. Is also denied ever harassing any of the women. No charges came from the woman's police report in 2004, but she returned to the authorities when she learned they were investigating Masterson again. The other two women had waited more than 15 years before reporting him to anyone other than church officials. The women testified at both trials that in 2003 they were at Masterson's home when he drugged them before violently raping them. Now, this is, of course, in the wake of Me Too. He was actually on a show called The Ranch, which was on Netflix, but was kicked off the show after they found that the police were investigating these crimes. Now, 30 years to life means he's eligible for parole in about 25 and a half years, but he can still be held in prison for the rest of his life. So he's 47 years old. He's basically looking at essentially a quarter of his life. His 9-year-old daughters will never see him grow up. He will never see her grow up, get married, have kids. And if he did these crimes, he deserves it. But is this a consequence? I believe it is a consequence of Me Too, especially in California. The laws have changed now where you can actually they've removed statute of limitations where they can actually, a victim can file a lawsuit like what they did with Mr. Cosby, even if it's almost 50 years ago. You have no evidence, but I say it happened. That's enough. Now, I had heard, I can't remember exactly. Well, I do remember exactly, and I could be wrong, so I'm always going to say alleged. But, Sean, I had allegedly read this judge made a remark after the mistrial saying something to the effect, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I say alleged for that reason, that we got to go ahead and try him. He should be tried again because he's probably guilty. If that is true, that is a big appealable error on the part of the judge and the court. Rather, the judge should have recused herself, and possibly she could be investigated by the Judiciary Committee for making a remark like that in open court, if that is true. Because a mistrial had declared, and she should not have said that she could have asked, does the state intend to prosecute this man, but to give her opinion on it, especially when no verdict had been rendered, I believe was unprofessional and unethical, if this occurred. Sean, what do you think of Danny Matherson's sentence to 30 years in prison?
Well, it's very tragic that Danny Masterson has fallen from being a star to becoming an inmate. And if he did commit this crime, then that punishment would be justified because that's what happens to sex offenders. However, if there was some judicial misconduct as related to his trial, as related to this judge saying that he was guilty, that clearly shows some bias. And that basically is a grounds for a mistrial. And I'd like to believe that this whole case basically was brought back again way past the statute of limitations. I mean, if this woman came about 15, 20 years ago with this case, it's really a case that I don't think should have been brought to trial in the first place, because if this crime had happened and this woman was violated by Danny Masterson, I would have thought she would have gone out here and filed police reports in 2003. That would have been the time, because again, if this man
one did, Sean.
One did.
One did, but not the other two. Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, but there would be police reports, and you would be making these claims. I would think you would have made those claims then and not now. And when they make them now, I think it's all about jumping on that Me Too bandwagon in the hopes of going out here and making an allegation in order to, one, get attention, and two, go out here and hope to find a payday as related to a civil judgment. So I look at this whole case with a side eye, because many of these women making these allegations decades later is quite suspect to me. And it's suspect because why would you wait this long? Again, if this man is a predator, you want to keep him from preying on other women. I would think that would be your goal, is to make sure that no other woman suffers like this. So when I listen to this whole case, again, it doesn't have that ring of truth. And I think Danny Masterson might have a shot if the judge is proven to have made this statement of clearing his name. And he might also have a case if he can prove that there was issues as related to the credibility of these women and their allegations. But I really do believe his case is strong if he can prove this judge was biased, because if she was biased, there is a case for a new trial, because this judicial error is one that just cannot be given a pass to, especially when you're dealing with heavy charges like this as related to a sex crime, charges that can basically destroy a man's life. So I look at this case of, again, 30 years in prison. And again, it's all based on if he did this. But what really troubles me is how the coverage of this case and the tone of it is very different from the one with Bill Cosby. And you see a clear difference between the media on this case in black and white. I mean, as related to Danny Masterson's case, they have really not really given it the heavy coverage they gave Bill Cosby. And that really shows me a double standard.
They are not complaining about it like they did Dr. Cosby. You've heard virtually very little about it. Shout out to my man Dwan B, because he even mentioned, as well as Nicole from Nicole's View, you've heard very little about Danny Masterson. Now, I happen to know Tom Mesereau. Tom was actually his attorney, I believe, at one point. I think he only did the court case back in 2022, the earlier court case, if I'm not mistaken. He was working on that. So he might have switched lawyers. I believe that's probably what happened here. But he made it abundantly clear to me, when Tom was working on it, I didn't get to ask him too much, but I think he made a point that they were battling this Me Too thing.
And Me Too really destroyed everything as related to fairness in our judicial system, because it made men guilty until proven innocent. Again, running counter to our Constitution, where a man is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and he's supposed to be tried as related to the facts of the case, not the feelings of people as related to allegations presented in the media.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where we are. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Again, please, 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 if you're pretty my knees, donate to the Cash App, the PayPal, Zelle. I'm worth my time. If you think I'm worth my time, then pay me for my time. ladies and gentlemen. We hit that notification bell when we go live. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And speaking of Dr. Cosby, purchase on Kindle The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby. It's easier to get it on Kindle, right, Sean? So
Yeah.
everybody get it on Kindle, ladies and gentlemen. That is the true story of what happened to Bill Cosby, how he got railroaded in that kangaroo court out in Pennsylvania in Montgomery County, recommended even by his spokesperson, Mr. Andrew Wyatt. You need to get that book now, and that's on Kindle. So next thing I want to talk about, Sean, this is up in your woods. The New York City mayor, Mayor Adams, is gotten into it with Joe Biden and the Democrats. He's upset because of the migrant crisis that's going on in New York. First off, let me just ask you, because you're in New York, how has that been with the migrants there? Just curious.
It's basically destroyed the quality of life here in the city. I mean,
Also,
everything is really, what you've got is a lot of squalid conditions because you've got so many people coming in, and then you've also got homeless services that homeless people cannot receive. You've got a lot of people just out here just running around. Again, we don't know who these people are. So it's made life in the city just that much worse. And this is all, again, a self-inflicted wound on New York by New York's Mayor Eric Adams. So everybody, he's trying to make himself out to be a victim, trying to shame Joe Biden into helping him and getting federal help. But this is all his fault because he was the one who virtue signaled and created a covert contract with Joe Biden, thinking that he would get help for him. But he really did not read the room or see the overall board as related to this political game of chess that he was playing with Greg Abbott, who saw the bigger picture coming up as related to the overall situation, because he had been dealing with this in Texas for many years, and he knew that it would be next to impossible for New York to be able to handle that many people. I mean, they only have 100,000 people, and Greg Abbott deals with 1 million or 3 to 4 million a year. So he's sitting there basically upset that it's going to destroy the quality of life. But what has it done to all of those Texas border towns? Critical question I'd like to ask Eric Adams. I mean, those Texas border towns have been dealing with this for years, and he's out here upset that he's made a mess, and he's upset really that he's basically destroyed his chances of winning in 2025. There's no way he's getting a second term after the disaster that he's presented. I mean, we've got 10,000 migrants a month coming into the city, basically doubling and even tripling the homeless population here. And most of these people will be on welfare, and there's no way for the city to take care of these people because now Eric Adams has basically ramped up more of a higher budget deficit, and he's made a complete mess of this whole situation. And while he's looking for Joe Biden to save him, there is no saving him because Joe Biden's approval ratings are at an all-time low, and if he gives federal funds to New York for migrants, his approval rating is going to drop even further in an election year. Moreover, there's no way he's getting money from Congress with the Republicans now currently running the Congress. So Eric Adams is up crap creek without a paddle, and his efforts to make himself out to be the victim are falling on deaf ears because all people have to do is pull up his 2021 tweets where he talked about he was proud to make New York City a sanctuary city, roll the videotape of him shaking hands with migrants at the Port Authority bus station, and they can go out here and show the pictures of him going out here and talking about helping all of those migrants, which is what his Republican opponent and many of his Blue Party opponents will be doing in 2025. And Eric Adams at this point knows that he's basically done as mayor and right in the middle of his second year. So he's basically looking for somebody to blame, but there's nobody to blame but him because he was the one virtue signaling. And I remember, and I heard today he was blaming Donald Trump. Well, how do you blame the man who wanted to protect the border? I mean, that's another critical question I got to ask. You want to blame the man who said that this was a bad policy when you're the one who said that you would have a better policy. The better policy has failed. So Eric Adams basically, again, is done as mayor. And now he's crying and talking about, oh, the city is going to fall apart. Well, you're going to be the face of the city winding up in the bad place that it's in because it was your policies that wound up running the city into the ground and his policies that were the one that created the entire mess that everybody's dealing with right now.
Let's play this video. This is Mayor Adams. He rips President Biden for his failure to help and says that the migrant crisis will destroy New York. Let's listen.
Started with a madman down in Texas decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City. 110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. And this team here, we stated, let's do everything possible before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City? It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew, we're about to lose.
It's all your fault.
I mean, he advocated for that. He advocated for having them to come here because he wanted to show off against Donald Trump. It backfired.
And notice how all of his Democrat friends is backing away from him.
Yeah. Nobody. I think the same thing is happening out in Chicago to Johnson.
He's got no allies. He just got there.
He's not going to have any allies.
Black folks don't want nothing to do with him.
They already don't want nothing to do with him. They don't like him. No. Eric Adams is he's gone. After next year, after 2020,
2025, he's finished.
2025 in 2 years, yeah.
He's done in the primary.
He's gonna be like Mayor Beetlejuice out in Chicago.
Yep. you dead man. You just done. You just dead done. Now he's trying to make it like, oh, everybody has to suffer. It's like, no, we don't have to suffer. We just gonna get rid of you. Because he's brought the whole party down. I've seen how the numbers for the entire party are falling because of him.
Yeah, it's bad. It's going to hurt. Do you think this is all going to hurt the Democrats in 2024?
It might do some serious damage if they don't run out here and play women on the abortion card, but I don't think they can play the abortion card anymore because people are on to that. So this thing is basically...
They need to offer money. That's what it is. It's about money.
Yeah, because New Yorkers already tired of these migrants, and they're tired of them just destroying the city. And they look at Eric Adams as the architect of that destruction with his virtue signaling. And none of this, again, is phasing Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, even though he's indicted, he's still running strong. He's actually stronger now than he was before. So this whole virtue signal has failed miserably. And anybody who understands New York City's finances and understands New York City's whole economic base understands that this would have never been sustainable from day one. I mean, I've been living in New York for 50 years, and I know that the city has been running on a deficit for the last 8 years as de Blasio has been on a spending spree. So we couldn't afford this even before Eric Adams started virtue signaling. And as he ran his big mouth, he wrote a check his ass can't cash. And now that he knows that he couldn't cash the check and can't get the funds from Mr. Bidendale, now he's running scared because he knows that his ass is almost out of that office. And he may possibly either be kicked out of office in the primary, or he may be forced to resign because his level of incompetence is so embarrassing that the party basically is looking at somebody who's a major liability going into the 2024 election, because they're going to make him a poster boy for failure, along with Brandon Johnson and Karen Bass and all of these mayors. They're going to be poster boys for failure that the Republicans can go out here and put up as related to this migrant policy. And this migrant policy, and along with the economy, may be the thing that tanks Joe Biden in 2024.
Yeah. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Yeah, I think Biden is going to tank. But speaking of tank, I got just quick questions, Shaw, I got to ask you, because you're from New York. And I'm always just curious, how come New Yorkers are mean?
Well, New Yorkers are mean because we run into a lot of it's a really hostile city. It's a real rough city. Everybody gives people a hard time. I mean, there's no real kindness here because everybody's so competitive. And that competitiveness is why a lot of people are mean, because there are no friends here in New York. I mean, other parts of the country, people are more friendly and more open.
Yeah,
but
you got to come south.
Because people are so competitive here for whatever little resources are, they're willing to cut another person's throat. So that's why everybody's so mean here. And it's just, again, one of the most hostile environments you'll ever be in, because, again, everybody's fighting for resources and opportunities. And that's the main reason why so many people are just so mean and rude here.
Yeah, I've ran into some New Yorkers who've come down to New Orleans. They're not nice.
No.
I got to add it. Yeah, Chip. Dare you to mess with them. All right. Speaking of Biden and Sean, last thing I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is that the special prosecutor that has been appointed in the Hunter Biden case is expecting an indictment very soon. According to CBS News, ABC News, and other outlets that I've observed, an indictment against Joe Biden's younger son, Hunter, is likely to occur by September 29th. And we're going to go to CBS News for more.
Investigation says he intends to seek an indictment by the end of the month. The statement is part of a court filing in a gun possession case involving the president's son. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge has more on that investigation.
After a 5-year investigation, Hunter Biden could soon be facing federal charges. Special counsel David Weiss wrote to the Delaware court the government intends to seek the return of an indictment in this case before September 29th. Harry Littman is a former federal prosecutor.
I think the message is simple. They're going to throw the book at him on a gun charge that they were previously going to let him actually work off in a couple years.
The president's son had previously reached an agreement on the charge of gun possession by a drug user that avoided prosecution if he abided by the term for 2 years. But in July, the broader plea agreement, which included misdemeanor tax charges, collapsed, leaving the future of the gun charge deal in question, and Hunter Biden facing legal jeopardy from the newly appointed special counsel.
What charges
could he be talking about?
Well, at least he's talking about the gun charge. And of course, we don't know whether the misdemeanor tax charges could also be included.
But an attorney for the president's son told CBS News they believe the agreement for the gun offense still stands and prevents any additional charges from being filed against Mr. Biden, who has been abiding by the conditions, including regular visits by the probation office. And while President Biden has continually expressed support for his son, he recently stressed the Justice Department's independence in this case.
I have no comment on any investigation that's going on. That's up to the Justice Department, and that's all I have to say.
All right, Catherine's joining us now. I still can't believe they're sort of disagreeing about what was in that plea agreement, even at this point. But in regards to the gun charge, I mean, what sort of consequences could Hunter Biden be facing?
Well, Anne Marie, it's a great question. It depends on the indictment and the charges that are brought by the special counsel. But for example, during the plea hearing in July in Delaware, where the whole deal collapsed, the federal judge asked why he had not been charged with a felony false statement. That's for, in this case, allegedly signing a document to obtain the weapon that said, I was not a drug user. And Hunter Biden, it's well documented in his own biography, admits to the use of crack cocaine and other drugs during that period. So you can be talking 5 years simply for a false statement, more if there are additional charges added on.
Wow. And why the 29th? Is that date particularly significant?
It is. Under the Speedy Trial Act and its application in Delaware, the clock started ticking on bringing charges in this case at the end of July, and the clock expires at the end of September. So the special counsel has now formally told the Delaware judge that they intend to seek an indictment in this case. The language in that motion was vague. It was either poorly drafted or it was done that way by design, because it's not entirely clear whether it's simply on the gun offense or it could also be on the tax charges. Final point, if that's the scenario we're looking at, the likelihood is that the gun offense would be filed in Delaware because that's the jurisdiction where the alleged offense took place. But the tax charges would have to be brought either in Washington, D.C. or Los Angeles. So an even complex case becomes even more so because the indictments would be bifurcated.
Oh, my goodness. Catherine Herridge, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so they're looking to indict Hunter Biden on this gun charge, even though the defense attorneys, they're asserting that they thought that they don't think any additional charges to that particular should stick, since they claim there was an agreement. But you remember last month, Hunter Biden went into court with attorneys as well as the prosecutors for an arraignment. I believe they thought a deal was going to be made, and that deal fell through. So as to the charges that were pending. So, Sean, what do you think of what's happening with Mr. Hunter Biden?
It's more political theater meant to distract us from the dysfunctional state of the Biden administration. This entire so-called trial and these indictments is basically, again, more attempts to distract from the sad state of America's economy and the inflation that's going on, because we know that Hunter Biden, while they may have these charges presented in an indictment, none of it is going to ever lead to a conviction, because again, the system of white supremacy does not punish people who are a part of that infrastructure of white supremacy. And again, this whole situation is just designed to divert people's attention, the same way we have all these indictments against Donald Trump that will basically be one big nothing burger, because all of it, again, is designed to keep us away from seeing the failure of Joe Biden as being the president of the United States. So to get our eyes off of all of his numerous failures, what they're doing is going out here and coming up with this whole case. Again, a case that was basically, again, set up to be rigged to clear Joe Biden's son, because that was the original plea deal was designed, and it would have gotten through had the judge not taken a look at it and see that it was completely unconstitutional. Now, this whole case, again, is just a complete farce, because we know that the fix is in. So when I look at this whole thing, it's just nothing more than political theater designed to get your attention and keep you away from seeing the continuing rising prices and the dysfunctional state of our union. It's designed to make us think, oh, they really are serious about getting Hunter Biden and punishing him, when they never had a plan to do anything to him at all from minute one.
Yeah. So when you say it's a distraction from the state of our country, how so, since this is the president's son? If he wanted...
Well, it's a distraction because the president's son, we know that they're not going to punish the president's son in any way, shape, or form, because Joe Biden basically is going to be looking out for his son. And they really want to get our minds off the $4 a gallon gas. They want to get our minds off the rising prices at the supermarket. They want to get our minds off the rising prices at retail. They want to get our minds off of all the people who have been laid off from companies that have gone out of business, like Yellow, and many of the people in Hollywood who are working behind the scenes who are out of work. They want to get our minds off the crumbling state of our union. So what we get is Hunter Biden being presented as, oh, we're going to bring him to justice, when all you're just bringing him out to do is distract the American people from looking at the crumbling state of our union under the incompetent leadership of Joe Biden, who has made Ukraine more of a priority than that of Americans. And as he's out here, talks about how the economy is doing well with his Bidenomics, which is a bad case of Biden denial. And this whole thing with Hunter Biden is all about trying to go out here and distract your attention from seeing how bad the state of our union truly is.
I never heard of the term Bidenomics.
It's on Twitter.
But he never coined that. Just like what, Reaganomics?
Yeah, it's on Twitter. He has actually said it a couple times, so.
You know he ain't using Twitter. That's his
henchman.
That's his yeah. He said tweet. He probably think you're talking about Tweety Bird, because that's how old he is. I thought I saw Putty Cat when Mel Blanc was still doing the voice. I did. Suffering succotash. All right. This might be one of our shortest live streams we've done. I don't have too much more to say, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Sean, if you want to do another plug-in, why don't you tell us tomorrow if you decided on what your live stream is going to be about?
Well, my live stream will be talking about a viral video that a black woman did, talking about how black men and black women are always fighting over money. And I'm going to be deconstructing that viral video in tomorrow night's live stream. And I'll also possibly may talk about my 50th birthday, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that, or I may do that on Saturday night, depends on how I'm feeling.
Do you have any plans for your birthday?
I'm going to go out and possibly go to a restaurant or something like that, if it's not too hot.
You know, you're going to see migrant people on the street.
Yeah, well, I don't think they really want to come to the South Bronx because it's rough over here.
All right. You think so? Okay.
Yeah, it's rough over here. A lot of people getting a rude awakening about New York. It ain't like what youth people think is on Seinfeld and Sex and the City and those 90s shows. It's really rough. It's like the way I grew up in the 80s. Really rough. I grew up in the era of the abandoned buildings and the burnt down buildings, and I can tell you how bad it was back then.
You remember this? You were around when they had the Summer of Sam.
I was like
blackout.
3-4 years old when that happened. I remember the blackout when I was about 4 years old.
But I'm saying, well, you still were alive when that happened. I know you don't remember too much, but even Bernie Getz.
I was 11 when that happened, 11, 12 when that happened.
Yeah.
But I do remember reading about Bernie Getz. I remember the crackheads on the train. I remember New York being a war zone. And sadly, after Rudy Giuliani cleaned things up and Michael Bloomberg turned it into a place that everybody wanted to invest in, New York has turned into a wasteland under the incompetence of Bill de Blasio and Eric Adams with their far left policies. And this is not a place that you want to come to. I'm telling you, as somebody who's lived here for 50 years, this is not a place you want to come to because the rent's high, the taxes are high, there are next to no jobs. I mean, I have been struggling to find another job for the longest kind of time. So This is not a place you want to come, and there's no real tourism here, so this ain't a place you want to be, because this place is Hades at this point.
And that's not to forget you had Jason Takes Manhattan. So
Yeah.
Vlade.
Yep.
But you actually, yeah, man. Well, happy birthday. But they actually, New York, I did always want to go to the Thanksgiving Day parade. Did you ever do that?
No, it's too crowded down there, and it's too dangerous at this point.
Why, even as a kid, you didn't do that?
Nope, because it was too crowded. I didn't have money like that.
I thought maybe your parents might have taken you. Okay.
No, we couldn't get there. We cooking dinner. We cooking.
Okay. But you used to watch it on TV as a kid. Huh?
Yeah, I watched it all the time.
Yeah. Do you watching still?
Yeah, I still watch it.
Yeah. I know it's cold up there. I had a cousin who actually performed in the parade, so I know you freeze your nuts off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Please support this channel. I do want to point out, Sean, if we can go to our poll right quick. I'm about to close the poll out, what the latest results are. And according to this poll, it says that we asked if a man should intervene with a woman in distress. Out of 18 votes, 56% of you said yes, 44% no. So basically, out of 18 votes, you have, I want to say probably at least 10 out of 8 or 11 out of 7 that agree that a man should help a woman when she's in distress. So that's interesting. I wonder again how many were women that made that did that. What's up, computer robots? You say you want to see the return of unsolved mysteries. We may do that. Maybe we have Sean join me. Sean is like, he's thinking about it, or he's probably against it. Well, we can talk about it, perhaps. All right, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Please donate to the Cash App or Zelle. Sean, thank you again. It's been a great live stream.
All right, thanks for having me on.
All right, my friend. Good night and happy birthday. All right, family. This has been a great broadcast. This has been another edition of Random Topic Thursdays here on channel GBoot 2786. Wherever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. I'll holla, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back. Please, again, tune in. Thank you, computer robots. Thank you, One Who Cares, Danielle, anyone else who's, if I forgot your name, it's my head, not my heart. One Who Cares, Derek Bailey, as always, Phantom Beats, everybody. Thank y'all. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Thank you.